It's one of the most popular shows on Netflix right now. Probably one of the most popular shows on any platform, and for good reason. Love is Blind has all the drama you could hope for in a reality TV show. It's got complex, complicated, interesting characters, and it's based on a crazy premise that two people can fall in love without ever seeing each other in 10 days or less, and get so far as to the point where they're ready to propose and get married. So it's an interesting show, and we can always learn something from content that millions of people or tens of millions of people go crazy for. There's always something that you can learn from that, because we learn about what makes people respond and what makes people have emotional reactions. But we're going to take a look at this from a different angle today and try to find out how people fall in love so quickly under those circumstances, because we want to apply those lessons to your marketing and to your business, because we want people to fall in love with your business, with your offer, with your product as quickly as possible, and we want them to fall in love with you. So there's 5 tips that I have today based on psychology and based on how people really work. So this isn't 5 lessons from Billions, which is basically you responding to the script of a fictional TV show. We're going to respond to a reality TV show, which of course is, there's only a certain degree of reality to it, but it is how people really respond to things. So this will be an interesting conversation, and it will be useful for your business. So tip number 1, why people are able to fall in love so quickly without seeing each other. Number 1 is because the show recruits and casts people who are in the market for love. They're actively searching for love. They're currently frustrated with the dating pool and the conditions of dating right now. It's probably been true throughout all of time, right? But right now, people are feeling disenfranchised, if that's the right word. They're frustrated with how dating works. They're frustrated with how superficial people are. At least that's what they say. But the point is, these people have self-selected. They've said, I want to find love. I'm currently looking for love. I'm willing to try this different way of finding love, and I'm willing to put my hands in, or put my life in the hands of this experiment. And so here's the key point. Your marketing will be most effective when you target people who are actively searching. They're in the market for the thing that you offer. They have a problem that you can identify and solve for them. That's the people who you can convince, and quickly. You don't have to convince, but those are the kind of people who you're going to have the most success with, because you don't have to convince them of something new. If Love is Blind grabbed random people off the street, it would not be anywhere near successful. Now on this season 2, which is, I think, the finale is coming out today as I record this message, or tomorrow as I record this video. There are, I guess, 7 couples who got to the point of proposing marriage in this show, and they followed 5 on the show. So there is success, but it wouldn't be successful if you picked random people off the street. You had to find the right people, and ideally you have the right people self-select. They say, hey, I'm looking for this solution. Where can I find an answer? And that's the number one tip is find the right people for your audience. Target the right people and talk to those people. Don't worry about people who don't fit the characteristics of your ideal customer. Focus on those people. Focus on that demographic and those psychographics, that desire and them pain points. And other people may come. The less than ideal clients and customers may come. They probably will. But the more you focus on the core target audience, the better results you will get. Okay, so tip number two is interesting. It comes from a psychological or a psychotherapy theory, really, called object relations. So to make it very simple, you can look this up on Google if you like, or whatever search engine you prefer. But you can look up object relations theory, and basically it says this: that as we're growing and developing, the theory focuses on infancy and childhood. I won't go so far as to say that, but we can find in our pasts a person who made us feel a certain kind of way, and we liked the way that that felt. And then in the future, we go looking for the characteristics that will recreate those feelings and those experiences for us. And in these pods, people are often, this is the theory anyway, they can see characteristics in the other person. And I say see, obviously they're blind. They can't see them. They're on opposite sides of a wall. But they recognize something in that other person that connects with their past associations. It connects with their past experiences. And then they say, I loved that person, or I loved the way that I felt about that person. I love the way that person made me feel. And you attach that to a current person or a current situation. So that's something that's 100% possible and likely to be happening on Love is Blind. And more than that, I think, is that when you're talking with people in the way that they are, and we'll get to a little bit deeper in that in a second, but when you're talking to people the way that you are, and you're asking the right questions, and you're spending time exploring each other's personality, because that's all you can do. That other person, you begin to feel seen by that other person. It's ironic that you feel seen by someone who's on the other side of a wall and literally can't see you. But when you feel like someone sees who you are, and you feel like they appreciate and love who you are, they are, all these people, most of the people say, I feel like you know me better than anyone else in my life. You know me better than anyone. And so feeling seen makes you feel appreciated, makes you feel open to love. And so that's the other thing. How does this relate to your marketing? Well, number one, get to know your audience. Know their pain points. Know their dreams and desires, their fears and frustrations, right? Their pains and problems. And then when you can begin to articulate their reality and show that you really understand them, they will feel seen by you. They feel like you know the answers to their problems, and they'll begin to desire what you have to offer. They'll begin to trust that you can actually fix their problem. Second tip on that point is that it's helpful to tap into some nostalgia. Depending on your target audience, you say we know how old they likely are, then you can bring out some elements that you believe, have a strong reason to believe that they have nostalgic, positive nostalgia about. That's one of the reasons why Adam Sandler has very, very consistent 80s music in his movies, right? Because he knows the people who are watching his movies, those songs bring back feelings for those people. Oh, I love whatever, I loved that song. I remember when that song came out. That may be the most enjoyable part of the movie for them. And they may not even really know why. And so if you bring some nostalgic elements to your marketing and your branding, your positioning of yourself, you can attach yourself to those positive past associations that your reader will feel great about. And the third point on that is that if you can embody characteristics of someone, a character that you know they love to some extent, then they will recognize those characteristics in you and love you for that, for the same reason that they loved that character that they remember from their nostalgic past, someone who they idolized. If they loved that person, they loved characteristics about that person, and you begin to have similar characteristics, they'll love you as well. So that's tip number 2. There's a lot to unpack there. Look into object relations theory. It's interesting. But also, again, think about nostalgia. How can you work it in? For different audiences, there's different ways that will play out. But consider it. See how you can use it. Tip number 3. This is interesting. In Love is Blind, there are 15 men, 15 women, and they're locked up. They're in a building in Atlanta, Georgia, where they're dating each other. So here's the thing. There's a limited number of options that you have. You said, I'm coming here to find love. That's the whole goal. Now, you say there's only 15 other options. And there's 14. Okay, so if I'm a man and I'm saying there's 15 other women here who I would like to try to see if I can have a relationship with and marry. But there's 14 other guys who are competing for the attention of these 15 other women. So it's there is high stakes, and there's urgency. There's scarcity there. Well, let's stick with scarcity. There's only a certain number of options that you have. So rather than thinking I can look everywhere, anywhere, there's so many options for me to think about. There's only a certain limited number of options. So scarcity is something that you should put into your marketing. So there's scarcity in quantity, scarcity in like access. See how that plays out. We're only going to have 10 people in this program, or I'm only going to sell 100 of these shirts, or I'm only going to sell 10,000 of these NFTs. That limited number increases desire and increases focus, and that's valuable for your business. Also, consider in terms of limited options, not branding, but positioning yourself, carving out a niche for yourself where you're really not competing with anyone. I'm the only person who provides this particular thing in this particular way for this particular audience. And the more niched down you can be, the more likely you're just right for somebody. It's a smaller group of people who will want to buy from you. That's true. But it's so much easier for them to fall in love with you and buy from you if they know you're exactly what they need. You're exactly for them. You understand them better than anyone else. So limited options and scarcity, making yourself a limited option, or limiting who you work with, limiting how much you're putting out, that will benefit you and help people fall in love with you faster. A fourth thing in these pods, they don't show this on the show, but you'll learn when the couples are talking, or the men and women are talking, they're able to spend as much time as they like with people once they're introduced. They can spend all day. For 10 days, they can spend all day with one person if they really like them or really want to explore a relationship with them. And so the same thing, let me just say this: maximize time spent, which means I encourage you to be in constant communication in various media with your audience. That means consistent emails, not once a month, not twice a month, probably once a week. I always recommend once a week is minimum, which is interesting because I email my list rarely more than once a week. I should email more, but email regularly. If you're doing social, and you probably should, social posts regularly. Text message regularly. Not sporadic, not infrequent. The more time you spend with them, the faster they're going to fall in love with you, period. And so I encourage you to increase your output in terms of marketing messaging. Spend time with them. It's easier to fall in love with you when you spend more time. Also, the more time you spend with them, the less time the other competitors are spending time with them, because they're trying to get them to fall in love with them too. So are you going to let some other man come in and talk to the girl you like? Or vice versa, are you going to let the man come in and let the other woman come in and talk to the man that you like? You can do that, but it's not smart. Not if you want to have that relationship. So increase your marketing output. Number 5 is kind of related to number 3, and I say scarcity. I said scarcity is 3, I'm sorry, and urgency is number 5. So the couples know, or the people know, they have 10 days to make this work. So when you know that there's a limited amount of time, you take action. Also, when you know exactly how much time that you have, there's something called Parkinson's Law. You've probably heard of it. We tend to fill up the amount of time that we have. Right? If I know I got a year to do this, I will take a year to do it. Most people. It's just the natural tendency. And so if you decrease the amount of time anyone has to do something, the more likely it is that they'll do it more quickly. So introduce urgency into your marketing as much as you can, wherever it makes sense and wherever it's honest, and that will help people take action faster. And they'll have to decide. They have to make a decision. Do I want this or do I not want this? Do I like this or should I pass on this? And so that will work very well. It works on Love is Blind. It will work in your marketing. Now, I encourage you. I'm not going to encourage you to watch the show. It's fun to watch if you're into that sort of drama. I swear, I'm watching it for research purposes. only. Okay. But I encourage you to think about these things. How to just target it, focusing on your targeted audience very specifically, exclusive to anyone else. Like you don't even have to care about what other people think about your messages. Just think about those core buyers. Object relations, or past associations and nostalgia. How do you work those things into your marketing? Scarcity, consistency of messaging, and frequency of messaging, and urgency, where you can fit those things in honestly, authentically, but intentionally. Those things will increase sales, increase the bond that you have with your readers in most cases, as long as you're not a jerk about it, and they'll make people fall in love with you faster. So I hope these are helpful tips for you, and I've had fun exploring them. I hope that you'll put them to use. And if you can think of any other marketing lessons you learned from Love is Blind, just Love is Blind now, put a comment below. I'd love to hear about it, and let's talk about it. So, go get it and see how much love you can create in the world.